If you have ADHD, you're not bad at discipline. You're often battling a reward system that doesn't reliably turn effort into motivation. Stay until the end, because the last point is the one that makes every other dopamine boost actually stick, without you needing to rely on willpower. Quick note, this is educational content, not medical advice, and it's not a replacement for professional care or ADHD treatment. All right, let's talk about the natural strategies and how to use them in a way that works with an ADHD brain. First, meditation. Meditation can sound like the most unrealistic tip for ADHD because sitting still with your thoughts can feel like trying to hold smoke in your hands. But there's a reason it keeps coming up. A PET study reported increased dopamine release in the striatum during meditation, alongside a state described as reduced readiness for action. What to do instead, so this doesn't turn into just sit there and suffer? Treat meditation as nervous system training, not a performance. Start with something ADHD friendly. 2 minutes, eyes open, one simple anchor like counting breaths, and the only win is noticing you got distracted and coming back. Second, achieving goals. Small wins look silly until you realize they're one of the most reliable ways to create consistent reward signals. ADHD is strongly linked to differences in reward processing and dopamine-related circuitry, which helps explain why long, delayed payoffs often don't produce enough pull to start. What to do instead? Shrink the goal until it's almost impossible to fail. One checkbox, one email, 2 minutes of open the document. Then let the brain get the reward of completion and roll forward from there. Third, music. Music isn't just background noise. Your brain can treat it like a reward event. A classic study reported dopamine release in the striatum during peak emotional responses to music, and it also highlighted how anticipation plays a role. What to do instead? Stop using music randomly and use it as a switch. Pick one focused soundtrack and play it only when you're starting tasks, so your brain learns. This sound means we begin now. Fourth, reading and creative hobbies. Reading and creative hobbies can be a superpower zone for ADHD because when interest clicks, the brain can lock in. One study found that reading a novel was associated with changes in resting state brain connectivity that persisted beyond the reading period. What to do instead? Choose activities that create deep immersion, not endless switching. 10 pages of a story, a sketch, a small craft, a writing sprint, anything that pulls you into one thread instead of 10. Fifth, balanced diet. Food won't fix ADHD, but unstable fuel can absolutely make symptoms harder. Dopamine synthesis relies on biological pathways involving amino acids such as tyrosine, which is one reason protein-rich meals are commonly discussed in dopamine-related context. What to do instead, without making this a strict nutrition channel? Aim for fewer crashes. If you're eating carbs, pair them with protein and fiber, and build one default snack you can repeat on autopilot. Sixth, exercise. Exercise is one of the most practical brain levers because it changes state fast. In animal research, voluntary exercise increased striatal dopamine release, which aligns with why movement can improve drive and reduce fog. What to do instead? Remove the perfect workout requirement. Do the smallest version you can repeat, 10 minutes, a brisk walk, bodyweight basics, because consistency beats intensity for ADHD systems. Seventh, walks and travel. ADHD. Brains often crave stimulation, and novelty is a clean way to get it without spiraling into doom scrolling. Research links dopamine to novelty seeking and exploratory behavior, which helps explain why new places and new routes can feel instantly energizing. What to do instead? Schedule micro-novelty. New walking route, new playlist, new cafe, new park. Small novelty, predictable time, low friction. And final, cold exposure. Cold showers and cold water immersion are the shock your system strategy. And yes, the dopamine claim is big. A 2024 review discussing cold water therapy cites a controlled study reporting dopamine concentrations increased by 250% after cold water immersion. But here's the real reason this is the final point. Cold exposure is a system, not a mood. It's an external trigger that can flip your state without waiting to feel ready. And that's the principle that ties every tip together. Stop trying to fix ADHD with willpower. Build systems that still work on low motivation days. When you rely on mood, you gamble. When you rely on systems, tiny goals, a music cue, a default snack, a short movement routine, scheduled novelty, you reduce the need for motivation in the first place. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. This channel is all about ADHD-friendly strategies that work in real life, not just on perfect days. And watch the other videos on the channel next. There are more practical systems there for focus, energy, and emotional regulation.